Okay, definition of a kite. It is a quadrilateral that has two pairs of consecutive congruent sides, but opposite sides are not congruent. Let's take a look. So notice the sides that are consecutive. The consecutive sides are congruent. Okay, but opposite sides are not congruent. All right, if a quadrilateral is a kite, then its diagonals are perpendicular. So right here we have the kite. This is a diagonal, and this is a diagonal. Okay, and notice they make a right angle with each other. And of course, these are all right angles here where the diagonals meet. If a quadrilateral is a kite, then exactly one pair of opposite angles are congruent. So you want to look at the angles that are in between the sides that are not congruent. Okay, and those two angles are going to be congruent. All right, so you want to look for the angles between the sides that are not congruent. So this angle here and that angle there are the same measurement. Example 4, find the measure of angle D in the kite shown at the right. Okay, so they said this was a kite, and what we know about kites is the angles that are in between the sides that are not congruent. So this angle here and this angle here are going to be the same measurement. All right, this one matches this one. So what I'm going to do, since these are the same measurement, I'm going to call both angles X in degrees. Okay, now a kite is a quadrilateral. It's a four-sided figure, so we know the interior angles add up to 360 in degrees. Okay, if you don't see how I got that, what you want to do is recall the formula for the sum of the interior angles. It's just n minus 2 times 180. Okay, so we have four sides. N is the number of sides. So it's going to be 4 minus 2 times 180. 4 minus 2 is just 2 times 180. That equals 360. All right, so that's the sum of the interior angles. So you just want to add them up and set them equal to 360. Okay, so we have 124. We have 80. We have X, and we have X. And adding those together, those are going to equal 360. All right, combining like terms, 124 plus 80 is going to be 204. And of course, X plus X is going to be 2X. So we have 204 plus 2X equals 360. All right, solving for X, the opposite of positive 204 is negative 204. And cancels here. Bring down the 2X. 360 minus 204 is going to give us 156. And dividing both sides by 2, X is going to equal 78 degrees. All right, so that is the measure of angle D and the measure of angle F. Okay, please try number 6. It says, in a kite, the measures of the angles are 3x, 75, 90, and 120. Find the value of x, and what are the measures of the angles that are congruent? Okay, so once again, you want to add the 4 angles and set them equal to 360. And then solve for x, plug it in, and then see what that will equal. So adding them up, we have 3x, we have 75, we have 90, and we have 120. And combined, they equal 360. By the way, that's the interior angle measurement for any quadrilateral, not just kites. Anything with 4 sides. All right, we have 3x, and combining like terms, 90 plus 120 is 210, plus 75 is going to be 285. And that equals 360. All right, solving for x, the opposite of plus 285 is minus 285. Cancels here. Bring down your 3x. 360 minus 285 is going to be 75. Okay, solving for x, you divide both sides by 3. And 75 divided by 3 is 25. Okay, and I mistakenly thought we would have to plug this in. We don't have to plug it in because we already solved for 3x. We said in this step right here, 3x is 75. X is 25, but 3x is 75. So the angles that are congruent are a pair of 75s. Now on these homework problems here, they want us to use the Pythagorean theorem to find the side lengths of the kite. Okay, and they really want the length and simplest radical form. So let's look at number 22. We said the diagonals here in blue, we said the diagonals of a kite are perpendicular to each other. So they're going to make a right angle. All right, and we can use Pythagorean theorem like they said. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay, the hypotenuse is always C. So just go across from your right angle. And that's going to be C. The other 2 sides are A and B. So I'm going to let A equal 6 and B equal 12. So A squared is going to be 6 squared. B squared is going to be 12 squared. And C squared, we don't know. 6 times 6 is 36. 12 times 12 is 144, and that equals C squared. All right, 36 plus 144 is going to be 150, 180. And that equals C squared. Okay, solving for C, the opposite of squared is going to be square root. Now, they did say simplest radical form. I think if you're in college prep, I'll let you do 1 decimal place. But if you're in honors, let's see, if we break up the 180, that's 18 times 10. And 18 is 9 times 2. And 10 is 5 times 2. Okay, I'm going to stop there because I know how to do the square root of 9. So you want to circle the last number in each branch. And 180 is going to be 9 times 2 times 5 times 2. And that equals C. All right, square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 2 times 2 is just 2. And we're left with a 5. 2 times 3 is 6. And we still have radical 5 left over. And that equals C. Again, if you're in college prep, just do the square root of 180 on the calculator, round to 1 decimal. So the value of C, that's going to be 6 radical 5. And of course, since we have 6 and 12 right here, this side is also going to be 6 radical 5. Okay, please pause and see if you can find this side here or this side here using Pythagorean theorem. So once again, the diagonals are perpendicular to each other. Okay, you go across from your right angle. That's your hypotenuse. That's always C. The other two sides, A and B, it doesn't matter. I'll make 6 equal to A, and I will make 4 equal to B. So A squared is going to be 6 squared. B squared is going to be 4 squared. And C squared is just C squared for now. 6 times 6 is 36. 4 times 4 is 16. 36 plus 16 is 52. And that equals C squared. Solving for C, the opposite of squared is to take the square root. Square root of C squared is just C. Let's break up the 52. 52 divided by 4 is 13. And I'm going to leave it like that because I already know the square root of 4. So you just circle the last numbers. Okay, you can't break up the 13. So it's going to be 4 times 13. And the square root of 4 is just 2. And we still have radical 13. And that equals C. Once again, college prep, just do radical 52 if you don't want to do these steps and round to 1 decimal. Okay, 2 radical 13 in place of C. This is just going to be 2 radical 13. And again, since the other sides, pieces of the diagonal are 6 and 4, that's also 2 radical 13. All right, so you need to do Pythagorean theorem twice to find the side lengths of the kite if you're given the diagonals. All right, so I posted these kite properties on my Google document. All right, and 2 disjoint pairs of consecutive sides are congruent. Disjoint pairs means that one side can't be used in both pairs. All right, so we established that already, that this side matches this side, and that side matches that side. The diagonals are perpendicular. We did say that. The main diagonal is the perpendicular bisector of the cross diagonal. Okay, so this diagonal right here actually bisects this diagonal. So this right here is congruent to that right there. And also the main diagonal bisects a pair of opposite angles. So if I can bring this up here, it says the main diagonal bisects a pair of opposite angles. So this is congruent to that, And this one right here is congruent to that one right there. Finally, the opposite angles at the endpoints of the cross diagonal are congruent. I think we said that before. This angle is congruent to that angle right there. The ones that are in between the two sides that are not congruent.